The first time I walked into the Indonesian class at my school in Australia, I saw lots of Indonesian vocabulary words and pictures of leaders in Indonesia hanging on the wall. And as a native Indonesian, I felt, man, that's awesome. They want to learn the language that I've been growing up with. And they're actually good too, because I attended the class several times and I did a test. And they did good on the test, the students I mean. But wait, I also been learning the language, English, for 12 freaking years. And English is a hard language, I'm not gonna lie. But it's really fun to learn. Even though my English teacher at school, they suck. I mean, mostly, not all. But I joined English course for 4.5 years. And I think that's probably one of the reasons I can speak English in front of the camera like right now. Anyway, if I were a person who speaks English as a first language, I think Indonesian is grammatically a lot easier than English, even though it still has some exceptions for some words. But since I'm studying Indonesian with some Australian friend, I kind of feel curious. Is it harder for Australians to learn Indonesian or for Indonesians to learn English? Let's find out.
Do you think it's harder for Indonesian learn English or for Australian learn Indonesian?
Indonesians to learn English.
Why?
Because English is so hard.
Based on your English, I'm going to say it's harder for Australians to learn Indonesian. I think Australians to learn Indonesian because not as many Australians do Indonesian, whereas every Indonesian does English.
Okay.
Or many. Yeah.
Is it harder for Aussies to learn Indo or Indos to learn English?
Oh, I think for sure it would be Indos learning English because that's
English
hard.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Is it harder for Aussies to learn Indo or Indos to learn English?
That's a tough one because I'm not Indonesian. Probably Indonesians to learn English because, as Sarah said, it's very complicated. And yeah, it's a difficult language to learn.
Is it harder for Aussies to learn Indo or Indos to learn English?
I would say harder for Aussies to learn Indo because English is like a lot of people in Indonesia speak English, so I would say it's easier for them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Is it harder for Aussies to learn Indo or Indos to learn English?
I'd probably say Indos to learn English because English is like known as one of the hardest languages to learn. So I'd probably say Indos.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it the hardest language?
Yeah,
I think it's the
apparently.
easiest. No. Is it harder for Aussies to learn Indo or for Indos to learn English?
Definitely Indo to learn English. Like it's so, I mess up English and I have been doing it for 14 years. It's very difficult, like really difficult.
Even if it's your first language.
Huh?
Even if it's your
Exactly,
first
and I
language.
still mess it up. It's so bad.
If I were my friends that was being interviewed, I'm gonna tell the camera that it's harder for Aussies to learn Indonesian than for Indonesians to learn English. Why? Did you hear what my teacher said?
Based on your English, I'm going to say it's harder for Australians to learn Indonesian.
Yeah, I think my English is fluent enough. Not only because I learned English on purpose, like I went to school, I went to English course, but also I accidentally learned English. Like I'm watching some films, TV shows, I played some games, I listened to songs, or even I read book in English. So I can train my English listening skill 24/7 for free on the device that I hold every single time, my phone.
I think Australians to learn Indonesian because not as many Australians do Indonesian, whereas every Indonesian does English.
Yup, because English is compulsory almost in every country, including Indonesia. I know, there are lots of Indonesian YouTubers that you can look up to if you want to learn Indonesian like how I learned English. But they don't use Indonesian. They use slangs that most of you guys who are trying to learn Indonesian won't even understand. I can't blame anyone if Indonesians they are using slangs because I myself is using slang all the time when I'm speaking in Indonesian. So for me personally, I think there is no better way to learn Indonesian than through music and films, because most of them are using formal Indonesian, except if you are also learning Indonesian at school, of course. So yeah, people on Earth, Moon, and Mars. Why am I saying that? People on Earth, Moon, and Mars. I mean, there's gonna be people on the future who's living on Mars watching my video, and it's gonna be awesome. So yeah, that's basically it that I can say in this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and follow my Instagram at Asian Akira here. So stay safe, stay home, sayonara.